welcome back to the First Time Homebuyer Show. I'm your host, Estee. As you know, this week we're chatting to the absolutely amazing Nhlakanipho. Went from studying his honors in accounting to becoming a property investor, real estate agent, and property coach. To our viewers at home, as you know, we have a fun-filled, fun-packed show for you every day this week. We have Zamantungwa Kumalo on the Private Property Podcast live at 7 p.m. from Monday to Friday. And of course, if you're interested in farming and agriculture, we have Mbali with you Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. And of course, are you shopping for your perfect home? Chad travels Mzansi and finds that gorgeous, gorgeous homes around Johannesburg. If you're looking for your perfect home, that's every Monday and Friday at 8 p.m. And without further ado, just before we start the show tonight, as you know, we are looking for those absolutely amazing stories. Do you have a story to share with us on the First Time Homebuyer Show? Are you a visionary, a property investor, a author? Do you know about property and want to share your story with us? Well, now is your chance. Put it down in the comment section below. If you know anyone, we want to know them too, because we want to hear their stories. So thank you so much for joining us. We are with the amazing Nhlakanipho. Good evening, Nhlakanipho.
I'm fine, Estee. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for joining us. I've listened to a few interviews, and I know you also run your own YouTube channel where you educate people. And it's so amazing because in this industry of real estate, we're all extremely frightened by the jargon, by things we hear. But to have someone who, it's like free education. And so tell me, how have people benefited from the education you've given them, either on YouTube or you've mentored them or in person? How have they benefited from that?
So there's many different benefits that I think that the education that I'm providing gives to people. Firstly, just to be able to make the decision, the financial decision to purchase a property, knowing how to manage your own personal finances, how to increase your credit score, and all those kind of details are things that I help people with. And I've had a lot of people thank me in my DMs, sending me inboxes on Facebook and on Instagram, just showing appreciation, saying thank you for the assistance. I've now purchased my first home. I've now purchased my second property. I followed some of your advice, and I'm able to make some money out of a bad situation where I was in. So yeah, definitely I do think it's something that has been of help to a lot of people.
And I think the finance part of it is so important because a lot of the times, you know, we just think property, we just think invest, and we jump into this thing. But how important have you seen the finance game? Because you're an accountant, you have your honors in accounting. And I find that the fact that you could link the two, which we're going to get to later, I'd like to find out how you did that. How important would you say to be financially savvy is in this game?
It really is important, because if you purchase, no matter how many properties you own, if you are not able to manage the cash flow, if you're unable to manage the income and the expenses, your business will fall. Even from your own personal life, from your salary, if you're not able to manage your salary, you'll find yourself in a situation where you have a lot of debts, you owe a lot of people money, and it's going to be really, really unfortunate, considering I've seen a lot of people who earn a lot of money and they're still in debt. They're unable to manage their debt, all because of that simple fundamental that they were missing, of the ability to manage your income versus your expenses, and how you allocate to your expenses and how you allocate to investing money.
You know, you were talking about being financially savvy and how important it is. So maybe now I should actually just connect the two, right? You have your honors in accounting and you went into real estate. And I just want to find out from you, how were you able to, of course it's easy to connect the two because now you're like the money guy. Now I feel like making those investments aren't as scary because, you know, you kind of inclined and informed about how to work out return on investments, how to see, is this property actually going to give me my money back in the next few years? And I like what you said in one of your interviews, that property is for the long run. It's not a, and you know, in one of our podcasts that we did recently, someone taught me a very valuable lesson, and it's not about is the investment good? It's, are you a good investor? Right? So I just want to connect all of that. I know I said quite a bit now. So how did you link your accounting to your real estate journey?
So when you're investing in real estate, from an investment point of view specifically, it should be logic-based, it should be numbers-based. It should be, will this make me money? Will this create wealth for me in the long run? So it was easier for me to run the numbers as you had mentioned. However, I did have other challenges because I only studied accounting, so I don't know construction, I don't know architect, I don't know engineering. There's a lot of other other factors that come into play, like the legal side of property as well. So those are things that I had to teach myself, but at least I knew I was covered from the financial side, where I was able to calculate return on investment.
Right.
Does this investment make sense for me? And in the long run, will it make sense? In the short run, does it make sense as well? Because we can't predict what's going to happen in the next 15 to 20 years. So what I look at now is basically what's happening now and try to kind of project and say this is something that might happen in the future. And not to discourage anyone, but it's definitely something that anyone can do, because the accounting and the maths of property is not this complicated. It doesn't require an accounting degree. It doesn't require an honors degree for you to be able to understand those simple basics. It just
and you're
requires,
not just saying that because you're an accountant.
I'm really not, because there's so many people who are property investors who do not have accounting degrees. My personal mentor has no background in accounting, and he was able to mentor me to a position that I'm in today.
Right.
So I've seen it. It really does require a bit of effort if you don't have the background, but it's effort that is going to assist you and help you grow your portfolio, grow your wealth in the long run.
And I think what you've just taught me now is that even if you do have a degree in law, then you still need to educate yourself on the money side.
Exactly.
And then on the other, on all this, because I think it's really good to be educated on all the different factors of property investment. And you even said sometimes you had to teach yourself, and it was great that you did have a mentor, but there are situations where people do not have mentors. And then we have channels like yours and shows like yours and shows like these that we can go and watch and find out about these little things. But at the end of the day, what would you say was the benefit of actually having a mentor?
The benefit of a mentor is actually something I can't quantify. I really can't quantify it, because he assisted me in not making mistakes. So they prevented me, from not making certain mistakes that I would have made if I was doing it all alone. That is not something you can quantify and put into say, this is how much value. But one thing I can say, if you are looking into becoming a property investor, specifically investing in multiple properties and in having a property portfolio one day, then having a mentor, someone who's done it before, does assist, because it will prevent you from stupid mistakes, not understanding, let's say if there were transfer fees involved, not understanding maybe risks that are associated with building and all of that. So having a mentor really does help.
And just last week we spoke about mistakes not necessarily being a bad thing, but making a mistake once is a lesson learned.
Yes.
But doing it again, it's a mistake.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And how I look at it is, if I make a mistake, then it's okay. I can learn from it and move on. Well, the most important thing is you learn from it. But if you're able to leverage off someone else's mistakes, then that's even better, because the mistakes you make will be minimized. And if you do eventually make one of those mistakes that you were told about, then you'll think to yourself, oh shoot, I actually should have listened. And it will resonate, and you'll always remember the next time.
That's so true. I want to backtrack a little bit to your upbringing. How did Nhlakanipho grow up? What was it like? Did you know that this was going to be the route that you take?
No, definitely not.
Even like going back to your accounting degree, did you know like accounting numbers was my game?
No, because I'm from Durban, KZN. That's where I grew up. I went to high school there, and then I came to the University of Witwatersrand here in Johannesburg. From there I studied accounting. Even before I wanted to study accounting, I actually had no idea what to study. The way I chose my studies was, I applied for this, which has the least amount of maths. And seemingly accounting, surprisingly enough, had the least amount of maths. And that's what I went with. I had absolutely no idea what the end goal would be, but I just wanted basically to make money and a better future for me, myself and my family. So that's always been my goal. And then as soon as I started working, I realized that there's more to life than just earning your salary. As much as you can earn your salary, but there's an opportunity for you to make other income in other streams of income in other ways. And the one method that I found was property, and I started zoning in on property. And
and I think that's such a big mistake a lot of first years make, and I made the same mistake. I was like, which degree will give me money? Which degree will guarantee that after I graduate, I'm going to get a job straight away? And you said earlier that one stream of income is not enough. And we often talk about this, someone gave an example of a table that has 4 legs, and if the one leg breaks, so let's say you lose your one stream of income,
Exactly.
can the table still stand? Can it balance? And what can you then do as an investor, as an investor, or also someone who is, I don't like to use the word, but hustling, always hustling to make those different streams of income? How can you keep that table balanced? And you figured out that you needed to do that at the end of the day.
Yeah, you definitely do. Because if you do lose that one stream of income, as we've seen during this pandemic, where a lot of people have lost their jobs and have struggled to make ends meet, like, it really does assist if you have some sort of side hustle that you're doing, 1 or 2, you sell something. And the main thing that I've realized is commitment and discipline to those side hustles are something that will really assist you. If you are not committed to them, then you'll never really grow in it. You'll always just be comfortable in your job, and you'll be like, yeah, I'm making a little bit of extra money there.
Yeah.
But the day you lose your job, then you'll find yourself in a situation where you've never ever been committed to your side hustle. Then now you are forced to being committed, and it's unfamiliar territory for you, and it's just going to be even more difficult. So from the time in which you start earning any form of income, obviously you pay your expenses, but also start investing that money into other things. Invest it into property, invest it into shares, invest it into whatever. But the most important investment, I believe, is an investment in yourself. And nowadays, investing in yourself is not so difficult. It doesn't require you to go to WITS or UJ or UKZN. You can go onto YouTube. You buy data, get Wi-Fi, you go onto YouTube, and you find people who are educating other people about different investment strategies. You read books, you go to bookstores and you buy a book. That's you investing in knowledge in yourself, because there's no one who can ever take that away from you. But your job can always be taken away from you.
And I think what I just realized is that the word side hustle makes us believe that it will always be a side hustle, but you're right. So we need to treat the side hustle like a hustle.
Yeah.
Because once you start saying this is a side hustle, you're okay with just making an extra 2,000. But if you lose that job, is your rent 2,000? No.
So that commitment and discipline to continue working on your hustle, even if it is on the side, on the after hours, then by the time you maybe want to transition out of your full-time job to your hustle, then it will be much easier. Or if you do lose your job, then you are used to committing time and effort to doing this thing. You've built connections, which is something that's very important. You've built a network around whatever it is, the product that you're selling or the service that you're providing. Then if you're able to continue and push and motivate yourself and commit yourself and have that discipline, then you probably will be successful in it.
That's so true. People, we always say charity begins at home. Were there any, because I know you're from KZN, like lessons learned growing up that you still apply to you today?
There's 2 things actually. There's something that my mother said when I was writing my finals in matric. She said to me that she said to me I must go there and get an A, and I was like, Joe, I'll try. She's like, no, you're not going to try it. Either you do it or you don't. And that's something that actually stuck with me, to say in life, I mustn't think of things as trying. I must think of it as, it's either I'm going to do this or I'm not going to do this. I'm going to give my whole heart into it, or I'm not going to do it at all. And then also something that slowly that came out of that was to tell myself that I cannot have any excuses. No matter what my situation is, no matter what my background is, no matter how much I think the world is against me, I can't have excuses, because having excuses will lead you down a hole of depression, will lead you down a hole of you doing absolutely nothing and feeling sorry for yourself. So no excuses, have no excuses, and do it or don't do it.
Exactly. Well, that's so amazing, because I mean, in this day and age with the pandemic, it's so easy to slip into that hole.
It really is.
To, get to a point where you don't even know how to invest in yourself anymore, because nothing you do is working, or you get to a point of serious depression and you don't even know how to get back out of that. But it's so true what you're saying about, let's cut out the word try. It's either you do it or you don't. I love that.
One thing that I really enjoyed as well was that in me telling myself it's either I do it or I don't, in me telling myself that no matter what, I should not have any excuses, I realized that the world is not against me. I might be feeling down and out. I might have failed the test in varsity. I might be doing, maybe my business is not doing so well, but the world is not against you. Things happen and they happen to everyone. So there's cycles, you have your ups and you have your downs, but if you're always going to be giving yourself excuses, you're just going to keep having downs. But if you tell yourself that, okay, I know I was born in an environment that is not structured for me to be successful, but I'm not going to make that an excuse for myself. I'm going to keep pushing and I'm going to keep trying and I'm going to keep doing it. Look at me using the word try. But I'm going to keep doing it and I'm going to keep pushing. Then I will do it and I will achieve it. It's just that discipline and commitment, not motivation, but discipline and commitment.
That's what, I mean, imagine people from the hood or people from townships kept telling themselves, no, I'm going to stay here.
Yeah.
Because this is what my life's supposed to be.
And that's not what's
my aunt is like this, my uncle's like this, my brother's like this. So, and I think that's so powerful of what you said. How does that one person in a family of everyone who is maybe stuck or stagnant in a position, how do you get yourself out?
I think one thing that has helped me was support. Support from my business partner, support from my parents. Knowing that there's people who believe in me and that there's people who know that I can do it. So that really helped me. And at the end of the day, I realized something as well, to say I can have all this support, people motivating me, people trying to push me, but at the end of the day, it's your decision.
Yeah.
It's your decision whether you're going to choose to listen to everyone who's going to tell you that you can't do it. Because I did have that when I was growing up. I had it even from the time I was in primary going into high school, because my friends were older. They'd always say to me, you have no idea how difficult grade 8 is. You're not making it past grade 8. And when you look at it now, it's like, okay, grade 8, I don't really remember, but is it the most difficult, challenging thing in the world? Definitely not. But because of the environment and how they grew up, they tried to instill that on me, to say that I can't make it past grade 8. And then I did make it past grade 8, and I realized that actually I don't have to listen to these people who have negative things to say to me. I can choose to be positive and choose to be happy and focus on the people that are around me, that support me and love me. And chances are I will be able to do it, because I will have that commitment and that discipline.
And you know, on social media and everything that's influencing us, we loosely throw around this term breaking generational curses. What you did is literally living proof of breaking that curse. Because there are on numerous occasions where even me still now till today, when I go home, if I didn't have the support of just my mother, the voices around me would have broken me down so bad. I mean, I transferred from Cape Town to Joburg, also to Wits, and I don't even understand how I completed that degree. If it wasn't for video calls, late night chats with my mom, I would have left long ago. And it's so, the support is so, even if it's just one person that has your back, there's that one person is so able to just get you out of that deep dark hole. And oh my god, this conversation is so emotional, because I just want to ask you, on a day-to-day basis, being in this pandemic, being maybe in an emotional place, and till today there are adults who still have people who do not believe in them, who still have people that throw these little words that just bring them down. How do you, I mean, when you wake up in the morning, is there like a ritual you do, tell yourself something that today I'm going to be great? What does Nhlakanipho do to stay focused on a day-to-day basis?
So I generally wake up pretty early in the morning. I try to wake up while it's still just before the sun comes out. That's when I think it's most quiet. And when it's most quiet, you can start having whatever thoughts you want to have. I always tell myself that those thoughts need to be something that is positive, need to be something that will grow me. Either if I'm deciding to have an off day, maybe, then I need to watch something or listen to something that will grow me or that will help me in whatever it is that I'm trying to achieve for myself. Because it is difficult. Life is not easy. Sometimes you do have your ups and downs. So when you're having your ups, when I'm in a really good mood, it's really easy. But when I'm in a really bad place, then I think that's when I need to sit down and actually focus on me and say, Nhlakanipho, what is it that you want to achieve, and what can you do today that will help you get one step closer? And then that's the thing that I start focusing on, and that's the thing that I do. I even sometimes can call my mother at 4 a.m. in the morning. I know very well that she's asleep, but I know that she'll answer the call. And that phone call, whether we speak for 10 minutes or whether we speak for an hour, is something that makes me feel better. And if I'm not in a good space, it makes me feel better, and then I'm able to then move on with my day. And it's something that I think everyone should have, that one person. I've noticed it with a lot of men, that they actually sometimes don't have that one person to speak to because they're not supposed to speak about their feelings and all of that. And I think it's a very stupid thing that has been instilled in a lot of men, and it's unnecessary. I think that we should discuss whatever it is that is bothering us, at least with one person.
At least with
one person, because it eases the burden from you, and then you're able to be more productive.
So you're right, it's so important to have that stability. Talking about breaking generational curses, I saw one of your YouTube videos. I want to bring it back to what's currently happening in the world right now, right? And we've had a few of our students who are fighting for fees, free education. What is your whole thought on free education?
So at first, when I was at WITS as well, there was the fees must fall, and it was interesting, right? That we're in a country where it's a democracy and we expect free education, right? However, for so many years we still have not received it. And in the most recent strike, even my brother was arrested in the strike, and I had to go sit there and wait for him and till they released him, which was very, very late. But one thing I realized is that education, it not being free and accessible to everyone, prevents people from having that fundamental, that I'm not sure what I should call it, but like a sort of fundamental that can help them as a stepping stone to something else. My degree is not something that helped me. My degree is not something that I want to do for the rest of my life. It's never been that, but it helped me to realize that there's property investing. For someone else, it might be something different. It might be their engineering degree will help them realize that they want to start an engineering company, or they want to diverse into, I'm not sure, as an actuary or something like that. I do believe that education in South Africa is necessary. It's necessary for it to be free, because not everyone has access to it.
Exactly.
Not everyone has access to
accomplished students from high school and capable students to achieve this degree, but then they held back
because of finances. It really is unfortunate, because that person who is held back by finances will do two things to them. It'll either motivate them to really push hard and be something in life, or that person, if they're not mentally strong, they will actually slump. And a potential great accountant, a potential great architecture, or a doctor will now be prevented from the opportunity, end up on the streets, maybe doing crime and stuff like that, which is something that is already a problem in our country, and we do not need more of that.
Do you think if education was free, it would still hold the same quality?
If education was free, I definitely believe it would, because especially over time, because when education is free, if you and me get that free education, we feel the need to maybe give back. I started my YouTube channel and all of that because I realized that I was able to study mostly for free, and I want to share everything that I've experienced with everyone, with no charge, and I just want to share and share and share. So imagine if we can have more people who experience the same thing, who can experience free education, and then at the end, when they are educated and they're growing in their journey, they will feel the need to give back to society and give back to someone who is similar to them. And even if it's not everyone, but even if it's just one person, that person would make a difference.
It's that thing of giving back to, especially where you come from. We like to, because home is so significant, and being on the first time home buyer, I'm going to ask you a quick question, but the word home and the place home is so significant. I want to take it back to your accounting degree. Did your accounting, because you spoke about earlier that of course your accounting mindset did benefit you within this, and again, on the first time home buyer, I want to go to, it's another interview I heard that you did somewhere, which was how you said that there's a fine difference between buying your first home and in having an investment.
Yes. So there definitely is a difference. So how I said it was, there's a difference between buying a home and buying an investment property. So your first property as a first-time home buyer can be an investment. However, there needs to be a distinction between what is an investment and what is your home, because the process in buying your home and the process in buying an investment should not be the same. When you're buying an investment, it's purely based on what is likely to happen in the future, the numbers, am I going to make money, is this thing going to build me wealth? When you're buying your home, you're looking at do you like the kitchen, the way the kitchen is laid out? Do you like the spacing in the lounge? Do you like the fact that there's two in-suites, or there isn't an in-suite, that there's a pool, that there isn't? It's now more of your feeling and emotion. And the mistake that people make sometimes that I've seen is they say they'll buy a home, and then even if in 2 years' time they decide to move out, they'll just rent it out. But now, when you didn't buy that home with an investing mindset, the mistake you make is that you assume that the rent will cover all the costs. One thing when you buy a home is you might overpay for it sometimes, because you're using emotion to buy it. And if you've overpaid for a property, no matter how, and now you're receiving, let's say, 6,000 Rand rent on this house, that's what it's going for, but your costs are 8,000 Rands. Do you see that that's not necessarily now a good investment to make? So that's why I say when you're purchasing an investment, you look at that from day one to say, what is the rent that I will receive and what are my expenses? Is my rent going to be more than my expenses or less? And then you can make a decision from there.
Because you're right, there's such an emotional attachment to buying your first home, where when you buy a property investment, it's easy to let it go. And like you've said, you've experienced you've seen people who say no, they'll invest it in 2 years, but they cannot let go of that home because it's become a home now. And we literally spoke about the significance of home. So yes, the quick question I had for you earlier was, what does the word home mean for Nhlakanipho?
Home is a place of comfort for me. Surprisingly enough, I don't go home often, but it's a place where I feel comfortable, and when I do go home, I completely switch off. I forget about the rest of the world, and I am focused on just family and having a good time, because I go home often. If you notice, even this past December, I went home and I completely relaxed. I came back and I haven't even been active much on my YouTube channel, because I think when I was home, I was just so switched off from the rest of the world and focusing on me and my family. So that's what home is for me. And home and family is something that I hold dear to my heart, and till today, even my greatest achievements in life, I think, are linked back to my roots and my home.
That was my next question. I want to know about your greatest, so you've given us your life lessons. Let's talk about one of your biggest achievements within the property sector, and then one of your biggest achievements within life in general.
So my biggest achievements in life till today, I believe, is the first time I bought my grandmother a geyser. Surprisingly enough, till today, that sits with me and it says to me, okay, this was a very emotional time for me, because I felt like this is something that she needed and has been needing for a very long time. And till today, I think buying her a geyser so that she can have hot water when she takes a shower or a bath, that for me is my greatest achievement. I guess the next one would be maybe buying her a house. But then, that's it. And then from a business perspective, it's actually not linked to property, surprisingly enough. I think from a business perspective, my greatest achievement is me being able to impart the message and the education that I've been able to give to people. Because the properties, that can still go away and disappear. I can still go bankrupt, and that's just money, and it's physical assets. But the intangible that I've been able to impart, the knowledge that I've been able to give to other people to start building their property portfolios, is something that I think is my greatest achievement from a business perspective.
And I like that you said it's intangible, because no one can take that away from you.
Nobody can take it away.
How do you plan on building your legacy?
My legacy, I think from a financial side, I think it's just wanting to grow and have as big as of a property portfolio as I can have. But the most important thing to me is just to be comfortable, and to be able to know that I've put in positivity into the world. I've had multiple people that have closed property deals through my education that I've personally mentored, and a lot of people who just watch my YouTube videos. I think that for me is something that I would like to grow in. It's something that I would like to reach more people in the education sector. Yeah, definitely that's what I would like to be known for one day. Someone who was able to help other people to build wealth and break the cycle of poverty within their backgrounds.
Yeah, that's so amazing, because a lot of us in the industry right now are trying to do exactly just that. But like you said, getting the feedback from someone who's achieved that goal is so amazing. What is your current obsession, whether it's podcast, books? What is, like you said, you wake up at before the sun rises. What is your current obsession, again, that keeps you going?
Something that also I think keeps me going is I make it a point in my life to watch something educational or read something educational every single day. Something I did not know something that I did not know the day before and that I will know today, even if it's just one sentence. That one sentence, I believe, will compound over the next couple of years.
Again, investing in yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important message that we take home tonight is, what can you do? So to the viewers at home, what do you do, or what can you do going forward to invest in yourself? Because it's free and it's knowledge that no one can take from you. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys again next week. It's been great.